The current generation Ford Bronco has been out for about 5 years now, and it really has been a big disruptor to the segment because previously it was dominated by the Jeep Wranglers. Now, there are a number of different variations of Broncos to choose from, but today we have the biggest and the baddest of them all. This is the 2025 Ford Bronco Raptor. Now, compared to the normal Bronco, this gets bigger tires, wider fenders, bigger engine, and a long list of performance upgrades. However, it doesn't come cheap because as tested, we're looking at 135,000 Canadian dollars before taxes and after deliveries. Today is quite cold. Let's jump in, go for a drive. Okay, first of all, from the front, I mean, just look at this thing. The presence is unmatched. As a matter of fact, the Bronco Raptor is almost a foot wider than the base Bronco, and it's about the same width as the F-150 Raptor. You also get a bunch of skid plates and orange daytime running lights and metal bumper and things like that, which really just adds to the aggression. Under the hood, you're looking at a 3-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 that makes 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission and a 2-speed 4x4 transfer case. You also get locking differentials in both the front and the rear, as well as sway bar disconnect and also an active exhaust system. As for the wheels and suspension setup, which debatably is the biggest upgrade compared to the normal Bronco, you get 37 by 12-inch BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tires paired to 17-inch rims. So if you think about it, there's actually more tire wall than rim itself. You get 20 inches of tire wall and 17-inch of rims. Anyway, it also gets Ford's HOSS 4.0 suspension system. This system includes a semi-active Fox shock setup, as well as suspension travel for up to 13 inches in the front and 14 inches in the back. And then, of course, as with the standard Broncos, you also can take the doors and the roof off. Unfortunately, the Raptor only comes in 4-door configuration. If it came with 2-door configuration, it would be really, really cool. The Bronco is pretty spacious inside. The rear seats can be folded. The front seats are very supportive. These are Raptor specific seats. They are finished in blue leather and vinyl with red accents. There's also carbon fiber on the dash, the trim pieces, things like that, which looks really nice. The steering wheel feels very chunky and is very nice to grip onto. The interior also has a lot of physical buttons, which is always great. One thing to note is that the front seats and the steering wheel is heated, but not the rear seats. I think this Bronco is the definition of king of the road because not only is it wide and tall, it's also rowdy and quick. Unless you're surrounded by something like TRXs or Raptor Rs, you pretty much cannot be bullied on the road. Although this isn't the 3.5-liter EcoBoost you find in the F-150 Raptor, power is really good. It actually feels surprisingly quick. There's plenty of power, there's plenty of torque. It also sounds really good, especially when you put it into Baja mode and you rev it out. Yeah, it sounds nice. The only thing I would say is that it just doesn't sound all that muscular because it's a high-pitched V6 instead of a V8. As for the transmission, this 10-speed is okay. It is quite responsive when you're in manual mode. And in drive, it's also really smooth, but it just ultimately feels like there's a few too many gears and there's a bit of gear hunting action going on when you leave it in auto. Now, with this much power and this much torque, and also 4-low for when you're crawling and off-roading, it just doesn't really seem to need this many gears. It also doesn't make it better, considering that despite this is a body-on-frame construction and you can only tow 4,500 pounds. Again, just seems like 10 gears is a little excessive. Now, what about snow driving? Great question, because not only is it minus 20 outside, we've also gotten a historic amount of snow in the Toronto area for the past couple of weeks. But despite that, the Bronco Raptor still performed pretty good. I guess you could say this is as expected. You obviously don't have to worry about ground clearance. You also don't have to worry about snowbanks really, because you're so high up and you've got skid plates and metal bumpers that you could probably just drive over them. You know, it's quite cool for these 2 weeks. The traction control also isn't too intrusive, so keeping it in 4A will get most of the job done for the most part. However, the tires that are fitted to this car, which are the KO2s, although they are rated for the 3-peak mountain snowflake, which means you're good in the snow, they're still not as good as dedicated winter tires. So don't think that having a Bronco Raptor means you're invincible in the snow. You are not. Generally speaking, snow performance on these AT tires are about the same as all weather tires, which, yes, it's definitely much better than all seasons, but still not as good as dedicated winters. Compared to the Wrangler, the Bronco handles a lot better. Having independent suspension at the front and rack and pinion steering does make a huge difference compared to that solid front axle and that ancient recirculating ball steering. There's of course body roll and the wobbles given the weight and the amount of unsprung weight of this car, but considering that this is a dedicated off-roader, steering feels pretty darn good. When you're driving on the road, it is a bit bumpy. When going over potholes, the car does feel a little bit unsettled, and of course there's the vibrations that you'd expect from a body-on-frame construction along with a solid rear axle. But considering that this is a hardcore off-roader with huge tires and big suspension, all that good stuff, overall it's not bad. Same goes to wind noise. When you're driving under 100 kilometers an hour, really it's minimal in terms of wind noise. 110, 120 is still very tolerable on the highway. I would say that it does get noisy once you reach, 130 and above. As for safety features, the Bronco Raptor is equipped with Ford Copilot 360, which has things like emergency braking, blind spot warning, lane keep assist, things like that. The Raptor also gets 360 camera and parking sensors, as well as adaptive cruise control, but unfortunately not lane centering. One minor complaint is that because this thing is so big, I would have liked to have a 360 camera that offers a little bit better resolution or a few more viewing angles so I can park this thing properly instead of sort of guessing half the time where I am, where the fenders are, and things like that. Last but not least, fuel economy numbers. Unsurprisingly, it hasn't been great, but it also hasn't been as bad as I thought considering the cold weather outside. This Bronco Raptor is rated for 15.7 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 14.8 on the highway, and in reality I was able to do slightly better than the rated highway fuel economy and do about 14 liters. Now in the city, I've gotten as low as 16 liters per 100 kilometers, but for the most part it's closer to that 20 depending on traffic and how heavy your right foot is. The Bronco Raptor gets a 79-liter fuel tank, which I think is adequate, but if you compare it to the F-150 Raptor, that gets a 136-liter fuel tank, so way less refueling in that compared to this. The truth is that, yes, the Bronco Raptor is a beast off-road, but more often than not, you're driving this on-road instead of off-road, so perhaps the most convincing reason to get one of these is the feeling that it gives you. When you're driving it, it feels like you're the king of the road and you can conquer the world. And after you park it and you look back at it, the presence is just unmatched. Now, the Bronco Raptor is expensive, yes, and it is also similarly priced to the F-150 Raptor, but this thing is so cool. Now, the question I want to ask you guys is whether if you guys would get the more mainstream F-150 Raptor or get something like this. Comment down below, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.